Thank you all for joining me for this very important conversation about how to keep ourselves and each other healthy during this pandemic that does not seem to be going away. And it can be really hard to think about how to keep ourselves safe when the science keeps changing. I mean, at first we were told that we should not wear masks, but now the experts agree that wearing well-fitted masks is one of the best ways that we can all help slow the spread of COVID-19. In the beginning, we also thought that the only ways that COVID could be spread was through droplets from an infected person that is too heavy to stay in the air for very long, or by touching surfaces and then touching our faces. But now, more and more evidence is showing that a primary way that the virus is spread might be through even tinier particles that can stay in the air for longer periods of time, meaning we need to be even more careful. So why does this all keep changing? And how can we know what to trust? Is the science really working? Well, actually, the thing is that this is exactly how science does work. Science isn't just about the things we know. Science only exists because there's a whole universe of things that we really have no idea about. So it makes sense that when we've discovered this entirely new version of the coronavirus, which has never infected humans before now, there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of pieces of evidence that we need to uncover. And that really is how scientists become scientists. They ask questions about things that we don't know. And based on those questions, they make guesses, create experiments, and gather as much information as they can to make sure that their answers to these big questions are as accurate as possible. So with this big unknown, there's a lot of pieces to uncover, lots of different data points. And at first, the data points don't make a whole lot of sense. They're just some random spots. In the beginning, we knew very little. We didn't even know whether COVID-19 could be spread from one person to another person. Now, with more evidence, we're pretty confident that yes, COVID-19 very much can be spread from one person to another. And as we begin to uncover more and more pieces, the bigger picture starts to take shape. Let's see, if I look closely here, I see something that says College Hill, Greenwich Village. I see some lines, some white lines on a black background. We'll have to keep uncovering more pieces to figure out what this picture represents. And so that's how it's been with scientists doing different experiments, trying to learn more and more about this new coronavirus that we've never seen before. So in the beginning, sure, they didn't think that masks were going to be helpful. But when more of the picture is revealed, new science tells us different things. We now know that masks help keep us safe. That's what the experts believe. So you can see that as we keep uncovering pieces of data, we have a bigger sense of the picture. So this, now we see downtown, Belmont, Edgemont, University Row, see a Five Oaks here, McCook Field. So any guesses as to what this is that we're looking at? We have a much better sense of the big picture now after all of this research that we've done. And sometimes we'll uncover a really important data point. We may discover that this is a map of Dayton. But as you'll see, there are still lots of data points that we don't know about. A lot of these big unknowns have to do with questions about vaccines and treatments. How can we bring this to an end and protect other people? And you know, it's been 6 months now almost that we in the United States have been quarantining, keeping our distance. Life has been very different for us. And at this point, we've all developed our own methods of coping, our own new normals. And even though it can be exhausting to keep on following the science, it's really important to do so, because now that over the past several months, scientists from around the world have been asking the same questions, trying to uncover the same data points. We've learned a lot more. And so the research that's coming out now is going to be even more trustworthy within the context of this larger picture. In the beginning, it makes sense that we were uncovering some things that didn't show us the whole picture, but the further the research goes, the more data points that we have, the more trustworthy the research becomes. It's how science has always worked. Every new discovery has taught us information that we didn't know before, and oftentimes told us things that were totally the opposite of what we used to think was true. So now that scientists have taught us more than we ever thought we could know about the coronavirus, it's important to keep tuning in, to keep learning more. And that's why we're here with you to take you through some of these concepts, some of the things that scientists continue to discover, so that we can continue to make the choices that will keep ourselves as safe as possible, as well as each other. Thank you.